At last. I was afraid I wouldn't make it in time.
Greetings, Skiff. The last time you conversed with a representative of Sea Consciousness, it was comprised of all its members. Thanks to your assistance, I can finally speak for myself. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Valentine Darling, the leader of the team responsible for making contact with the noosphere. In 2006, I refused to follow the regulatory board's orders and became one of those who created the zone by mistake. I'm sure you've accumulated quite a few questions since our last encounter.
I've heard about induced illusions being part of the Stalker program. I wasn't completely sure if subtle matter was real or if you were just a holographic projection.
The Stalker program does indeed exist, but its function differs from what you might imagine. It doesn't generate illusions, but rather enables the exchange of data with the noosphere. This is what made our communication possible.
We've come so far, but I still don't understand how you've been carrying out your plan all this time.
In the disaster of 2006, Sea Consciousness took control of the X network and anomalous energy. Later, we created the monolith and the agents. But there were those who helped us from the beginning.
How did you get mixed up in all this anyway, Scar?
The Spark Science Task Group has always worked for the scientists. They studied the zone, while I believed in its mysterious destiny. Once I heard the Shining Zone legend, I started looking for its manifestations even in the most remote and dangerous places. And found Orbita. Talked to Topol, who's dead. Just like you talked to Strider. Later, Ozerski and I did everything we could to restore the X-17 visiograph and find out whether it's possible that the Sea Consciousness scientists survived. As you can see, I was right all along. Now you're on our side. The Zone's providence has always shown us the right path.
Korshunov told me about your agents. He claimed they pose a threat to the mainland. What's their true purpose?
Everything we created has served one purpose. The successful realization of the Shining in the future. The creation of agents has been fully justified. Thanks to them, you're on our side. Unfortunately, after Strelok deactivated the Basi installation, we lost contact with the Zone for a while, so we had no control over the agents who decided to leave the Zone. Don't think they haven't been rewarded for their efforts. We've given them a reason to live, Skiff. A higher purpose.
What about Strelok?
There was a glitch in the programming. Strelok went against his program. With the help of Dr. Kaimanov, who betrayed us once, he managed to get to the monolith control unit. We invited him to join us in the 8th pod. A mistake that might otherwise have cost us our lives. Because he chose to destroy us instead.
Not a mistake. The Zone's providence. You never died. You became pioneers of the truth. Guides to eternity.
And who's been helping you all this time?
We weren't the only ones who went up against the regulatory board. After Project X was frozen, some of our former employees decided to continue research under our guidance. They called themselves MDST. When Sherlock shot our bodies and destroyed one of the X-Network's central nodes, we continued to exist in the noosphere, but lost our connection to the zone and the ability to interfere. The Monolith program, X-Network, and related laboratories whose functioning was ensured by C consciousness stopped for 10 years. Only the agent's programming survived.
Until you brought Alpha to Circa. And until I ignorantly reactivated the system from the X-11 lab. But it turned out that we were fortunate.
That's all I wanted to know.
Do you have any more questions, or are you ready to proceed with the Shining Plan?
So at some point, you decided to go against the regulatory board. Why?
The regulatory board, a group of influential people behind Project X, wanted to use our work to gain control over the noosphere with the help of a generator's network all over the planet. But they wanted it only for themselves. We couldn't let that happen. As long as there is darkness in humanity, there will be people like them. Our original plan was to remove this darkness. That's how C consciousness came into being. During the experiment, there was a breakdown, and the noosphere energy rushed to the Earth, creating an anomalous zone. Thanks to it, we got new opportunities and developed the Shining Project.
What do I need to do to make sure the Shining becomes a reality?
First, we need to restore the connection between the center and the generators. It can only be done manually at the generators, so you'll have to make your way there through the Dead Valley. I'll do my best to teleport you as close as possible, but the teleportation system is currently unstable, so you'll need an experimental Project X suit. I'll give you the coordinates. Once the connection is restored, we'll need another piece of the puzzle. A mediator, a human being, who will act as an intermediary between the zone and the noosphere.
Who's gonna become the mediator between the zone and the noosphere?
Bringing the Shining to life would be impossible without you, Skiff. However, the role of the mediator requires someone with Class 5 PC protection. A single person wouldn't have sufficed in the past, but now, with C consciousness manifested as subtle matter, we can enhance the connection from the other side. Scar's mind exhibits an exceptional resistance to emissions. That's why the responsibility of resurrecting us falls on his shoulders. One might say, he was born for it.
I've always known.
We are on the verge of achieving our goal, and thanks to you, we can now
Hi, Dad.
You've always sought comprehensive answers to your... I wonder if I could have pursued the truth as you did. Against all odds. If I hadn't known it from the... For those who gained their faith at a great cost, the reward must be even...
More than anything, Richter wanted the Zone's forgiveness.
Once more, you refuse to accept anything you haven't witnessed firsthand. How could you be certain? Perhaps death was his...
Thank you.
Everyone else will go.
The connection is incredibly unstable. I'm not even sure if my father can hear me.
I'll lend you a hand, Doctor. Ozerski taught me a few tricks. But soon, none of this will be necessary. You're going to meet him for real. I promise.
We've stuck up on... Have fixed. I'll see you around.
Looks like... I'm not...
works, huh?
Richter.
Looks like I really am your guardian angel. Don't worry, Skid. We're in the Dead Valley, but we're still alive. Just don't give up, alright? Have faith. It's like the weather is getting worse. You should go. Get down there. I'll be waiting for you further ahead.
By your will, Monolith, by your power, bring my brothers back to
Not
me.
right now.
Grant them peace.
It wasn't in vain. None of it was ever in vain. I can rest easy now.
I've got no time for you.
May your light shine down on the souls of the brave.